What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Loot Gaming, the show where we talk about gaming news. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And a quick reminder, there's some games coming out next month for PlayStation Plus. We don't know what the fuck they are because they haven't told us yet for some reason. But when we find out, we'll let you know in case you don't know. And if you do know, before we do, let us know. But if you missed our episode of Plus Club, we had a guest, Paul, friend of the channel, come on, and we talked about Heavy Rain and Absolver. So make sure to go check that out while you wait for the announcement for the next PlayStation Plus games. But our game of the month next month is Vermintide 2, Warhammer Vermintide 2. Make sure to play that. Come back at the end of the month for game of the month. We'll talk about our impressions of that game. Let us know yours. And another quick reminder, we have a Discord, link down below. Join us there. Talk to us anytime, all the time. And we're on Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast platforms. If you prefer to listen to us. And if you're listening to us and you want to check us out on YouTube, go to Tasty Loot Gaming and check out our faces. So with that, we got 4 bits of news, and we're going to get into it. So first bit of news, 2017 sleeper hit. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, made by Ninja Theory, is releasing a VR edition on Steam for Oculus Rift and HTC Vive. I have one of those, so I get to fucking participate. It's coming out July 31st. And the best thing about it is if you own it right now or if you buy in the future, so if you ever have it, you get this for free. It's going to include the whole original game in VR with customizable comfort options, not sure what that means, and additional experimental game modes. So I mean, this is coming out
Today,
July 31st. And what do we think about... something we talk about often, but Ninja Theory supporting their game still to the point where they're adding a whole new way to play the game in VR for people who have that option, and adding stuff like experimental game modes and comfort options, and the success of Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
So do we know if this VR mode is going to be first person, or are you going to be the camera?
I don't know. I would assume it's first person, but I mean that's a really good point because it could be the camera. I just know the game has a lot to do with they deal with mental illness, so it'd be really interesting.
Well, and that was kind of what I was wondering, because if it's in first person, it'd be really trippy to play as her while hearing all that going on constantly. So,
well, I'll say it's gonna be a complete immersive experience if you have your headphones on, hearing the way she hears it, and then seeing where she's seeing in first person.
Yeah, I mean, it's just trippy. I think it's neat that they're doing this. Hopefully, it is implemented in a very good way. And I mean, I don't really have a lot to say other than that. It's awesome. It's free. And if it's in first person, that's going to be crazy. So
yeah, would you play it?
No.
Fair. I bought this. I played it for about an hour or two. I did not beat it. I need to play and beat it. Apparently, it's not that long. But from what I did play, it's amazing. It's a beautiful looking game. It has amazing acting in it. Great atmosphere. I really don't have an excuse on why I didn't beat it. Just the same thing as always, too many games to play. But this is really exciting because, like I said before, I have a Vive, and this would be a really interesting way to experience the game. I think it deserves all of the awards and praise that it got. And just to know that they're releasing this for free, I mean, that's kind of the name of the game recently when it comes to supporting games, which is awesome, for free. One thing we're going to cover this episode too is Forza 7 is taking out the loot boxes. They're completely getting rid of them. And, we could sit here and go, oh, yeah, it's great to talk about that for a split second.
New Horizon won't have them either.
Yeah. It's just, we're seeing a shift after Battlefront.
Thank you, EA.
Yeah. It's the best thing you ever done. Is piss people off. Yeah. Because now people are like, wait, these people are the ones buying our fucking games. We should treat them a little differently. And I'm not saying they are on that same area, but like it kind of just is an encompassing thing of like supporting games longer and in ways that are complementary to the people who bought the games. This is really cool. I would have easily paid like $10, $15 for this. So it's really neat that they're giving it away because they didn't even have to make it. The game's already awesome. So I think it's cool. Really excited for it. It's out now if you have a way to play those. And I might have to hop back in and maybe restart, or maybe I should beat it. What do you think? Should I beat it or the original way and then...
I think you should beat it the original way.
And then go back VR. Yeah.
And also just kind of some fun information for people in case you don't know. Ninja Theory, took a long time making this game. Really like polished, gorgeous game. Released it at, I think it was $40, brand new.
It was 30. It was 30 because I bought that and another game for $30
I thought
a
it
piece
went on
each.
sale for 30.
No, because when it came out, I bought 2 games at the same time. They're both $30 a piece.
Okay, so $30.
Yeah.
And then they donated money to mental health charities from selling so many copies of the game, and then they're doing a free update. So just some information to know next time you see a big company like EA, Activision, or Ubisoft release a $60 game, and it doesn't really meet the same kind of standard. So
yeah, it's companies like this that gain loyal fan bases. I have always respected Ninja Theory, but after this game and what they're doing with it, I can't wait to see what they do next. So this is how CD Projekt Red grew to what it is. It's just being super talented, supportive to their games company that respects the fans of their games.
Well, they're a Microsoft company now too, so that's all for Xbox.
Yeah. I forgot about that. That's really interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say on that?
Nope.
Let us know in the comments what you think about Hellblade's Senua's Sacrifice and the VR update that's coming out for free. Did you get a chance to play it? What did you think of it? If you didn't play it, why didn't you play it? And what do you think about VR? Have you got a chance to try that? I know it's a little more common now, but I still don't know if everybody's playing it because it's still a little steep. So I get that. But let me know everything you're thinking about when it comes to Hellblade, VR, and the two mixed together. Second bit of news.
So, a game that both me and Seth have played a lot of, Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom, is getting 3 bits of DLC.
Good.
The first one is going to be a free DLC on August 9th. It's called the Adventure Pack. It's going to have 2 new bosses, extra floors in the Fairway Forest, and some quests that'll be unlocked after you beat the main story.
And this is aimed for experienced players.
Yes. Also some costumes and other rewards.
Fuck yeah.
The season pass stuff will come out afterwards. We're going to get one this winter, which will introduce an enigmatic new dungeon that features progressively more challenging enemies as the players delve deeper into it. And the second DLC after that will release in early 2019 with more story content, more details to be shared later. So what do we think about Ni no Kuni getting 3 pieces of DLC, one of them being free?
Going back at it again with I like the trend of supporting games recently. They already released something recently that added 2 difficulties and like some quality of life stuff that I wasn't expecting, stuff that I wasn't even asking for really. Like I'm glad they added it, but I wasn't like, oh, this game needs this, and they did that, and that was awesome. This first DLC that's free is a really cool way to like just kind of do what we're talking about already, like. Here's some content. Yeah. Like, fucking, you guys are awesome. And then have the pay for stuff later. So, this is something to kind of keep you busy until that next stuff comes out. The first one's neat. It's adding a whole new area to the game, 2 bosses. So, if you didn't get enough of, like, what's already in the game, you have 2 things to fight, Blackheart and Zeta, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's aimed towards people who've, gotten further in the game. So that's really cool. I also love that it has new costumes and rewards. That's just more content. Even though I'm like at the end of the game and I have not gotten a whole lot of costumes for some reason. So I don't know where the fuck they are.
They're all side quests.
Yeah, apparently. And I've done a shitload of side quests. I got like 4 costumes.
There are a lot of side quests.
Yeah. Yeah, and then $20 season pass. You're getting that dungeon, which if it has cool rewards to go with it, I'll be excited for it. But I like the idea of having something that you're gonna keep playing and probably having to leave and then come back and try and get further and further into. It gives you something to kind of keep playing at and working towards. I just really hope it has cool stuff to get out of there. I'm sure it will. You're paying for this, so it makes sense, but they don't really say much about that. And then the last one's really exciting because it's adding storyline to the game, which is really cool because I always appreciate when a game is story oriented, even though I think the story in this game is a little weak, but that doesn't matter because the rest of the game is charming and fun. But I always like when you have a game with a story and they add to it with DLC, because that's really, if you really dug the story, it's a really it takes more work to like write more story and get people to do more voice acting and create new situations than just going like, here's an arena, defend yourself. I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing either, but it's just cool. This whole like roadmap, I guess, to, you know, the plans that they're going to be releasing is awesome. It makes me excited to play it again, because I mean, I'm on the last chapter. I still need to beat it. I've been sitting on that 9th chapter forever, so maybe when I get around to actually beating that, some of this will be out and I can keep playing from there, because the game's really fun. I didn't stop playing it because I was bored of it. Too many games, but it's a very, very fun game.
I mean, I actually beat the game, and one thing I
knew he'd beat it before me.
He
started after me. He beat it before me.
One thing I really appreciate is that it has post-game content. So after you beat the game, you can you save, and it puts a star in your save file, and then the game just continues, and you can do all the stuff you didn't get to do. And then with them adding more stuff like this, it's super reminiscent of like Final Fantasy 15, how they keep adding more and more stuff to that game too. And I actually kind of like that with role-playing games, because this is like an old example, but like Final Fantasy 7 I've beaten a few times, because every once in a while I just want to play that game. And it's really nice that these, you know, RPGs, which are typically known to just kind of be, you start the story, end the story, and it's over, are giving you reasons to keep revisiting that world that you love anyways. I mean, Ni no Kuni 2 is a very charming game. It is extremely fun to play. I can't think of anything in that game, or any time in the game, where I was bored. I just sat down and I was just enjoying my time the whole time I played it. So.
I would be interacting with that game even when I wasn't playing it. Like when I was actively playing it a lot, I'd come home, we'd shoot an episode, I'd be editing it while I have like my town over on my TV, just like doing its thing. And I'd go over and I'd collect some shit, and I'd like buy a couple things, and I'd start like editing. It was just like always on. It was almost like a mobile game. It was weird.
Yeah. And then as far as like the actual content itself, I like the boss battle stuff. I mean, it reminds me of like using Final Fantasy 7 again, but like Omega weapon and stuff like that. And then having a dungeon to crawl is cool. And the story content is probably the least exciting for me, sadly, just because the story was so lacking. Not saying it's not welcome, because without spoiling anything, at the end of the game, the ending is set up in a way as if like the story should have mattered more, I guess. So
it'll be saying something about that.
But it'll be interesting to see where this story takes place, because something happens at the end, and this could take place in different spots. I'll just leave it vague in case I don't want to spoil it for Seth.
yeah, don't do that.
But yeah, it's awesome, and $20 for season pass. I mean, that's pretty good. So
yeah, and that's a game I'd want to support. I really liked it. Like it's one of the only games that like, it's an RPG, and you expect going into an RPG to have like a story that's really going to matter. And the story's fine. It's not bad. It's just not like excellent. But the game is so like fun and just easy to just run around and do a lot of shit in that you know, it's just more content to that game is super welcome, because the game's so set up for that.
Yeah.
So anything else? Let us know what you think about Ni no Kuni 2. Did you get a chance to play it? If you haven't played it, let me know why. And what do you think about the season pass? What do you think about what they're offering? What do you think about the free DLC and then the pay-for DLCs? And does any of that excite you? Or are you just like, dude, I don't give a shit about fucking Lofty? In which you should. He looks like a little medium fry. It's like, good. Third bit of news, Daybreak Games has announced that H1Z1 Battle Royale for PS4 is finally leaving its open beta, and with that, there's a bunch of new stuff coming out. That is August 7th that's happening. So they are adding an RPG and a SOCOM sniper rifle, which the game already has a scout rifle, which is long distance, and it has like an M4 style, not M4, what is it? M40 rifle that's more close range. So this will be in between that. So you're going to get a RPG in that. And then there's a vehicle that's going to be, I believe, a 4-seater, but the 5th person in it can stand in like a sniper spot, which is really interesting because this is a game I've played quite a bit. And not to get too into my own experience, but like most of the vehicles are 4-person or 2-person, and you're on teams of 5 and 5 versus, or in 5s mode. So there's always this awkward situation where there's like 4 of you in a vehicle just honking at the one guy looking at you, and he's all just drive off, and he's just running through the field by himself. So I'm really happy to see that they're adding something for that.
What a weird decision. Sorry.
It is, but I think it's cool they're adding a 5th spot that you can shoot from. That's really neat. I mean, you can shoot from the car anyway, but it's cool. And then they're adding a Battle Pass Season 1, similar to how Fortnite does it, which will allow you to do certain things and unlock rewards and stuff like that. They're also adding premium content that you can buy. Let's see. So there's a PS Plus one that's like, what is it, $5.49? I'm not going into all the money.
It says that you have to join the premium path. You also have to be a PS Plus member.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the thing. And yeah, there's a couple of balance changes coming. Hellfire will do less damage overall, and even stronger damage fall off at distance beyond 50 meters. I believe the Hellfire is the SMG that you can find across the map pretty easily. So that's really interesting. I'll get into my thoughts on that in a sec. M40 headshots will kill people even if they have helmets on. That's very interesting as well. Crossbows will do less splash damage. And then tier changes. The AR-15, which is a gun that's typically in boxes, will now be ground loot. So that's going to be a starting gun now. But crossbows will be put into green airdrops, and the SOCOM will be found in purple airdrops, and the M40 and RPG will be found in gold airdrops. Not really, something you're going to be too interested in, but what do you think about it leaving, or H1Z1 leaving... I was like, what the fuck
It
is
got
this music?
real epic.
Yeah. What do you think about H1Z1 leaving open beta and going into release? What do you think about them adding this much content on release and the Battle Pass Season 1 unlocks and quality of life changes?
Well, I mean, from what it sounds like this is all standard fare for the genre.
Mm-hmm.
So, for fans of H1Z1, at least you know what you're getting into now. If you decide to be a premium player, that being said, it is a free-to-play title, and you can just continue playing, which is great. I don't know enough about the game to really talk about like the balance changes and stuff like that, though I am happy to see them getting a vehicle that supports the actual squad that you play with, because that's a fucking weird design choice otherwise.
Otherwise, you get like 3 people in a vehicle and 2 people on a quad, or like one person on a quad, another person on a quad, like a couple of people in the vehicle, or 2 people on a quad, 2 people on this quad, and fucking one guy in the truck. It's just like a fucking field of people driving around.
Well, and the one thing I'm kind of like weirded out by is I know when you were playing it a lot, you said the end of the matches always ended up being Destruction Derby.
Yeah, I would have liked to see them pulling back on the amount of vehicles on the map, or at least adding different amounts of gas per vehicle.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously the people playing it aren't necessarily complaining about it, or they just don't care. So,
but yeah, I've had some really stupid endings to that game.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, if you're looking for a game that's like Fortnite but not as cartoony, this might be up your alley.
More like PUBG, yeah. Like Chevy said, I've played this quite a bit actually. When it first came out, I was pretty hooked to it, surprisingly. So definitely welcoming the RPG, because the only other projectile explosive was the crossbow, which is pretty weak, but it's kind of nice because if a vehicle's driving now, you can fucking launch it into your teammate and kill them. I did that. Check out my Twitter. So yeah, hopefully this does more damage. Hopefully this is like really anti-vehicle, because the game needs something to combat vehicles. Like I said, the crossbow just kind of launched vehicles, so it was mayhem. New sniper rifles, not really something I was was hoping for, but it's interesting. I'm glad they added something at all. I would have liked to see other types of rifles into the game though that aren't like long range, because you have the AR-15. That's about it. You have an SMG. It sucks. It sounds like they made it worse. So yeah, would have liked to see something else, some other type of SMG or some kind of automatic or 3-round burst weapon. But it's cool. New vehicle is definitely welcome. I've been really wanting to see new vehicles introduced to the game, but I really would like to see them balance the vehicles on the map, because there's way too much. And at the end of the matches, it feels like a destruction fucking derby. It's to the point where there's just all these vehicles driving around, and you jump out and you shoot into a windshield, and as they're about to hit you, get back in your car and you keep driving. And it's ridiculous. Every once in a while, it's not like that, but it's way too often like that. The season pass thing is awesome, or battle pass season 1 is awesome. I'm glad to see something to add some feeling of progression in the game, because that's one thing that once you get around like level 15 in that game, it starts feeling a little slow, and the unlocks are not plentiful. And yeah, the balance changes. So like I said, Hellfire, which I believe is the SMG, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a while since I played, but if it's the SMG, apparently they're making it weaker overall, which really kind of sucks. That thing, well, actually no, the weakening it is fine, because the thing actually kind of killed people kind of quickly. It's weird. But the fallout off distance kind of sucks. The M40 headshots will be fatal. I like that, because there's been a couple times where I've had a shot hit someone in the head and they just ran away. That's really shitty feeling when you get that shot and there's like, woo, and they run away. Splash damage, less damage with the crossbow. That kind of sucks, because it already doesn't really kill people when you shoot them with it. I killed a dude because I hit him like dead on with the fucking arrow, but like that's kind of a hard shot to make. So I don't know. I mean, they've probably done the test, so they probably know, but at least they'll still kind of throw them, but that kind of sucks. I like that the AR-15 is going to be ground loot, because you start off and there's pretty much just pistols and an SMG, and the SMG is kind of hard to find, so there's like a revolver, a 9mm, and a 45 and stuff like that. So it's cool to see that there's going to be something else. Hopefully they're a little rare though, because I don't want everybody just running around with the AR-15s early on. Crossbow getting moved into the airdrop. I kind of like that, because every once in a while grabbing the thing, I'm like, why did you get this so quickly? I mean, it blows up. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it really can fuck someone up. If like they're shooting at you, shoot them, it launches them, and they take a lot of damage. So it's kind of weird. And everything else sounds good. So overall, I think this is really welcome. It's good to see that we're not getting small updates. This is a chunk of content, and it's really good to see, because it makes me excited to play it again. I liked playing it before. It's a good alternative to PUBG on PS4. Plays really well. And yeah, it's a lot of cool shit. Really excited to hop in again and try it. Wonder if I can get Josh to play it.
He played with you before, didn't he?
Yeah, but he either does good or he does okay, and when he's doing okay, he tells me he's not good at the game. So I'm just like, you're fine. He's like, yeah, I'm just not very good at this game. Then he plays Rock Collector Simulator. When he's like, hey, let's play this. I'm like, all right. And then he plays that. I'm like, the fuck you doing? And he's like, I'm playing this. I'm like, oh, cool. That's the ongoing saga. Anything else you want to say on that?
No.
I said a lot.
I couldn't add anything to that anyways.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments what you think about Battle Royale games. Let me know all you're thinking about when it comes to that. I know they're very popular and very popular to hate. But what do you think about H1Z1 on PS4? What do you think about this update? What do you think about it leaving open beta and finally going into its release? And yeah, anything else when it comes to H1Z1 and balance changes? What's your favorite balance change? Let me know in the comments. Last bit of news.
All right. So recently, No Man's Sky has updated with their update called Next. It's their fourth major update for the game. Fourth. Yeah.
Damn.
They did Foundation, Pathfinder, and Atlas Rises. So to get a quick rundown of this, because we'll be here all night if I read them all, this includes the long-awaited multiplayer, which also brought character customization so that you don't all look the same. Building and crafting changes, missions, a alien life form that they worded as basically a xenomorph, A lot of the planets are very colorful. They added some drab looking planets as well. Some quality of life stuff and new visuals, fauna, flora, etc., etc. So just to make sure I'm not missing anything real quick. I think the other thing that wasn't mentioned in there was freighters, which are essentially giant space stations that you get to own.
Everybody watching this is already playing it, man. They already know.
Yeah,
They know everything.
So what do we think about the update? And essentially, them finally adding multiplayer, I guess, would be the big news here. So
First off, I just want to say that it's insane it took them this long to do it.
2 years.
And it almost feels like when you're on Steam and you buy an early access game and you're playing it as they kind of update it and they finally starts building into something on a successful early access game, it builds into something that feels more complete. That's what this feels like. Now, that sounds kind of like I'm talking shit. I actually think it's great they made this. This actually feels like what the game should have been. Even if it's not what they wanted it to originally be, this actually competes with other games like it. Not games where you explore galaxies or whatever the fuck, but games where you can build shit, survive, and play with your friends. There's a lot of games like that already. This fits into that niche now, which is good. I had a chance to play it a little bit. I know you played it way more than I have. You've been playing it a lot lately. But overall, it's really cool. I mean, the game almost feels like, and this is kind of weird, but it almost feels like the game just released. It feels like this is the game. Like I said, it felt like the early version was like
It did for Xbox.
early access. Yeah. So for them, this is brand new.
Yeah.
But coming back to it, it looks different graphically. It looks better graphically. The character models, they're a little stiff looking. I'm sure they'll smooth them out, but they don't look bad. I do think the game looks better in third person. The first person was kind of weird. The ships are more detailed. I watched a video on that. They added more detail to them and a bunch of stuff like that. The game seems more interesting. I'm having a hard time starting up in it because the sentries are killing me for no reason. But it's happened twice now. But I'd like to get a little further because I'd like to see what the game is like. Because I played the original when it first came out for like the first 2 days, and I was like, "This is neat, but people are not going to be happy with this game because this is it." And then people weren't happy with it, and then I stopped playing it because I was hoping this would happen. It happened. I'm really happy with where it's at. The multiplayer works well too.
Mm-hmm.
So far, I played on your server with you as a group, however the hell it works.
You joined the room, yeah.
Yeah, and I saw you for a split second. After that, you were fucking galaxies away. But we were in a room together, and some random guy joined, and he spawned on my planet, and he like ran up the hill, and I'm just looking down at him. He's just running up, and I stop and I'm waving at him. He walks right past me up the fucking hill. I'm staring. I'm like, what the hell? So I follow him up there. And I get in front of him again. He like finally looks at me, and I wave at him, and I have my shit turned down, and I see he's talking to me, and I wave at him again, then I point, and he goes, and he's left. He's very upset I wasn't talking to him.
Yeah, I had saw his name pop up with the little chat thing, but I didn't even have, like, I usually play with headphones, and I didn't even have them on at the moment, so no idea what he said.
He's like, if you don't talk to me, I'm fucking leaving. And then he made good on that promise. But yeah, like I said, this is awesome. It feels like it isn't too little too late because fucking it's awesome. You know, it sucks it took this long, but they did it. So, you know, all the complaints of the past, you know, some people might hold a grudge to that still, but I think this is redeeming. They really did do a good job on this, and they didn't give up, which a lot of people fucking would have. 2 years is insane. That it took them this long to do it, but they still did it. And on my PS4 and on Steam, I'm seeing a shitload of people playing it. So it's
reinvigorated.
Yeah. So I mean, like that's awesome to even know that they were even able to fucking like, you know, I'm not hearing everyone go crazy about it. But people are playing it right now. A lot of people are playing it right now, and I know a lot of people are happy with it. So for me, if anything, this is just good because I don't want to see any company like completely just fail and like, you know, release something and everyone just hates them and they fucking go under or whatever. Like. I'm glad that they did this. So it's cool. I want to dive into it further, but I don't have as much experience as this guy playing it every fucking night.
Well, it was just on the weekend. I just played it a lot over the weekend.
A lot of nights on that weekend.
So yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely loving it. They really, even with just the differences in graphic appearances and the way the planets look and stuff now,
The skies look better too.
it's just such a cool experience. There's a lot more random stuff to do. I find myself, and this is funny because I always complain about sandbox games and how I get lost and I just want them to point at where to go. In this case, there is nowhere to go. So it is like a true sandbox and kind of do what you want. And I find myself just getting like lost and like trying to do a million things at once. And then a couple hours go by and I go, what was I doing? And I just like, whatever. And I pick a new objective and I just go. So for anyone who might be thinking about revisiting this, I do have to say first and foremost that this is still mostly an exploration game. So you have to be comfortable with exploring and constantly finding new stuff. That is the bulk content of the game. That being said, there are missions in the game now. When you talk to random aliens, they will give you things to do to help you explore and give you rewards. So if you need that, you have that now.
And you can do it with your friends.
Yeah. They've really expanded upon a lot of the systems and made them, I think, a lot more interesting too. Originally, I don't want to talk too much about everything, but this one was
because we're going to talk about this on Tasty Cast for sure.
But if you find a broken ship, if I'm not mistaken, you used to spend money to fix it, and now you have to find materials and actually like fix it
Repair
yourself. And I find that to be a lot more interesting. Even though it does make the process take longer because you have to find all that stuff now.
If you have a team of people, though, it'll be a lot easier. I mean, that kind of reminds me really weird, but like Daisy, you find a crashed helicopter, you can repair it.
Well, and the one thing that I thought was kind of interesting because I was talking with, a friend of the channel, Paul, today a little bit about it, and he said the multiplayer is neat, but almost kind of pointless because everyone's just kind of doing their own thing. I guess there are multiplayer missions, it says somewhere in this article. So I'd be curious to see if that actually means missions that involve multiple people, or they're just saying that multiple people can do the missions. So that'll be something that'll be interesting to see. I don't know. If you do know, let me know down below.
I don't know. When you play Ark with people, half the time everybody's doing their own thing.
Yeah, you're living in the same space.
Yeah, that's the point. I think most people are. Fucking look at VR chat. People are just standing around talking like that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing that in this, except for you're actually building stuff and stuff. So
and like the little bit I played with Josh, we weren't playing with
you actually
each
played
other.
with him
The first night, yeah. But we were on separate planets. And we were just talking in voice chat while playing the game.
Yeah.
I could have flown over to him or vice versa, and helped out with something if need be. For the most part, I was just doing my own thing, though.
It's creepy when I played because I just like looked up in the sky and your name was up there. I was like, ew.
I couldn't find you on the map, but I guess I had a thing turned on that was like making me go the course of the mission. I guess there's a way to make it more free form than that. But anyways, this is great. I'm glad to see people playing again. It's an investment people made that isn't being wasted at this point, which I think is super important. I also really have to give them credit for the shit they went through 2 years ago and to just keep at it and slowly, essentially, make the game better and regain people's trust slowly over time, which is great.
He acknowledges that mistakes were made too, which is good. I don't like how they went silent mode for a long time, but it's probably a lot to take in when the world hated you.
Well, it's funny. Paul again he was talking to me, and I guess he was.
They say Sean Murray's pointless.
No, but Sean Murray was in an interview where I guess or a talk show or something where he was talking about he never understood like why developers didn't talk to the press and blah blah blah, and then he's like, and then I did it, and I was like, I know why they don't talk to the press now.
That's interesting. Yeah, they don't.
It's always a PR dude.
Yeah.
So
the only people who really like talk directly to like anybody, like even like fans or whatever, is like indie developers a lot of times. And I mean, these guys are glorified indie developers.
Yeah, Sony's
that's the
fault.
one thing with the situation is like this should have been an early access game on Steam, and Sony was like, that game looks great, let's advertise it for you, and people are looking at it like, this is gonna be huge. And it is huge.
Yeah, advertise an indie game as a $60 AAA game.
Yeah, and that really upped the ante and expectations. So the whole thing's a mess. We talk about it for fucking ever, but I'm glad they didn't give up.
Yeah, and I really hope they keep adding stuff to do.
Yeah.
To make the multiplayer more of an enjoyable thing to do. My only thing I would like to see them add is maybe I was talking with a coworker and he said PvP is just kind of available, and he said his first experience with the game, someone loaded into his game and within 90 seconds was on his planet and shooting at him. So
There's PvP.
you can shoot each other, I guess.
Huh.
So I guess it'd be friendly fire would be the right way to word that. But so hopefully they can make that an optional thing. But this is multiplayer's in the game.
Yeah, that sounds...
Steps to come. So
What stops somebody from like coming in your room and like destroying your shit or like digging a hole under your stuff? Or
well, that one would be a little more difficult. But your base can be just re-uploaded.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you can go to different planets to do that,
Yep.
which is cool.
But yeah, awesome. I plan on playing it a lot more. So
Yeah. I'm hoping to get past the beginning point and not have to go over stupid hurdles constantly, like being hunted down by the sentries for standing and looking at my ship.
You know what? That happened, I think, when I had a sentry bugging out on me.
I've had it happen twice.
Well, what I'm saying is, one was pissed off at me and trying to get to me, but then all of a sudden it would fly up towards space, towards the direction of your name. And then it would like reset and just keep flying towards you.
Oh, weird.
So I think something bugged.
It had to have, because like I literally was at my ship, I got in it, and then I got out, I'm just looking at it, and then the thing flew over and just started scanning me. And I'm like, oh yeah, those are those things that like make sure you don't like hurt the wildlife or do weird shit.
Oh, they get worse.
And it's just scanning me, and then it's like, oh, and it starts shooting at me. I'm like, okay, and I start running, and it's just shooting at me. So I turn around, I killed the fucking thing, and then it's like, oh, you got 2 stars now, son, and fucking all of a sudden there's like a bunch of sentries,
And they're armored.
and I was just like, dude, this is stupid.
And then eventually there's dog ones, and then mech ones.
Yeah, yeah, and that all happened because I did nothing. So
I think it was a bug, and I think it's because I pissed one off. So
yeah, it was dumb. It was dumb.
They have
So my startup's been very hard. Once I get past that, maybe I can enjoy collecting minerals.
yeah, they've done one patch. They got another one in cert right now, so they're currently patching a bunch of the bugs. So.
Well, they've come a long way, and hopefully they keep supporting it, because they could have let the game fucking be what it was and fuck their legacy. But in a year from now, if this game is even better than it is now, people are going to forget about the fucking past.
Yep.
So that's how you fix shit. You don't apologize. Well, you do apologize, but you fucking make shit right. You don't just give up. Anything else you want to say on this?
No.
Let us know in the comments, what do you think about No Man's Sky? What do you think about Sean Murray being pointless? What do you think about the changes? Are you playing the game right now? Are you not playing it? You're still just like, fuck that game, they lied? What do you think about the xenomorphs that they're talking about? I haven't seen that at all.
Them.
Have you seen them?
Oh yeah.
Oh, are they actually xenomorphs?
They're similar. They're kind of like, they almost have like a hammerhead style face, but you go to abandoned buildings and there'll be eggs all over the ground, and if you shoot at them, they'll come out of the ground and start attacking in waves. Yeah.
Let us know everything you're thinking about when it comes to No Man's Sky and its update. But that's going to do it for this episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Loot Gaming. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook at Tasty Loot Gaming. Check out my streams on Twitch and on this channel. Tasty Senpai, all one word. Make sure to hit the notification button to know when I go live. We got Discord. Join that. Talk to us. We are on all podcast platforms, including Spotify and iTunes. Listen to us if you prefer that. And yeah, my name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I did a movie tasty bit recently. So if you're interested in movie trailers and want to know my opinions and reactions to those, check that out. And yeah, until the next episode, which should be Saturday for Tastecast. Have a great week, guys, and take it easy.